Hello,
Oh, hello.
I'm Sammy,
And I'm Steve.
and you're listening to Rose Plate Special, the most dramatic, um, I don't know, buddy, carpoolingest, girlingest, um,
Keep
happy
going. You're doing great.
endingest recap podcast of The Bachelor ever.
Ever.
I didn't even have my notes open. I was like, "Oh god, I didn't open my notes."
It's okay.
The funny thing is I had all this time to do it.
hmm
But then and then I should have asked for you for a ballpark of when you would be ready to record because cuz I it your definition of like soon or later is like Tuck's definition of soon or later and
yeah.
not mine.
Yeah. It's
So
it's
I
it's
was like,
called
"Oh,
cool guy time.
yeah, it's definitely cool guy time." I was like, "Oh, I would have worked out." Well, at least I ate because I was like, maybe I shouldn't eat and I'll eat after. Because I thought you were
Mhm.
just like grabbing tacos real quick. But you said
Oh
you had the
no.
most exciting trip to get tacos.
Yeah. So here's what happened. And it didn't even involve tacos. So
What?
yeah. We had to go to Cudahy, Wisconsin.
The
And if you're not
beautiful.
from Wisconsin, you don't know what that is. But it's full of two things: factories and the delicious smell of ham, because it's where ham is
Yeah.
produced in the aforementioned factories.
Mhm.
And we had to go there because our friend is in Colorado, and she called us and said, "Oh my God, I think I left my oven on." And I said, "That's a weird thing to do before you go to Colorado." So we had to go over there, and I had to like climb up on the side of the house and like look through the window
No.
to see if the oven was on, and it was not on. So
Oh,
everything's cool.
that's a relief. Wait, did
Now,
you get in? Okay, sorry.
then we were gonna get tacos, but instead of getting tacos, there is an Italian restaurant in Cudahy, Wisconsin. Now, there's like 10 taco places in Cudahy, and there's
Mhm.
some pretty good tacos in Cudahy.
Yeah, there's one
Um,
place in particular that's extra good,
but
in my opinion.
Italian in Cudahy? I don't know. So we went there, and let me tell you, they had a life-size statue of Al Capone that they dressed up like the Easter Bunny, and we had a
No.
grand old time. And here's the best thing: people often say, "Steve, you are the co-host on what many are calling the greatest Bachelor recap podcast in the history of the universe
Yeah, a
ever,
lot of people
ever."
are saying that, yeah.
People are saying this, and they're saying it more and more. And so they go, Why do you live in Wisconsin of all places?" And to that I say, listen, I got an old fashioned, as you do, classic cocktail in Wisconsin, got an old fashioned. It cost me $5. And not only
Yeah.
that, but the waitress in this very authentic Italian restaurant was kind enough to say, "Oh, and hun, it's Wednesday night, so it's happy hour all evening, and those are buy one get one."
Yes, buy one, get
BOGO.
one.
And then here's my favorite part. She goes, "Do you want them both now, or do you want me to bring them one at a time?" And I said, "One at a time is perfectly fine. Thank you so much, Gladys."
Do you want me to bring them both now? Was this okay, this place, I think I know it.
Mhm.
I think I looked it up. It's got like if it's the same place, 1,400 Google reviews.
Does it really? Yeah, that makes sense. It's good. Like
This
we
is
had
not a this is not an I yeah, this is not like a best kept secret by any
no,
means. Very
no.
popular, yeah.
Also,
So it
I don't know if you guys
is
know
Al
this. I'm a
Capone.
I'm a gluten-free boy, and as a
Mhm.
gluten-free boy, food can be hard,
Especially
but
Italian food.
oh, real hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had gluten-free pizza, and it was delicious. So 10
Wow.
out of 10 would recommend.
10 out of 10. Well, that's very
Mhm.
exciting. I just was at home. Um,
Just waiting for you, Steve. Just
no,
watching the clock.
no, I was doing stuff. You think I have a shortage of things to do?
No, you
That's
have
not true.
Sammy. One of the reasons why we all love you is because you always have the most things to do.
I have things to do. No, but so then I was like, okay, but how much time? Because I don't want to like get into something and then have to
Mhm.
get pulled out of it, you know? So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, I have to do this little thing. So I'll do this little thing really quick. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do this other little thing. Well, I guess I'll eat. Well, I guess I'll So I just did like a bunch of little things, and then I started working on. I'm going to Houston in a couple weeks,
Exciting.
for yes, for a conference. Ooh, and
Ooh.
I'm helping one of the presenters build a presentation that's very like TED talky. So it's like
Ooh.
lots of video and bold text and masked text where it's like a video comes through the text and all that stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah, very fancy stuff. He's really giving me a run for my money, and he's not even being like, "Can you do this?" He's like, "I'd like to do this," you know? And so
Hmm.
then I'm like, "Oh, I'm up for the challenge. Why not?" Like he's not like, "Can," he's just like, "I would like to see this happen. Can you animate that?" And I'm like, "I'm not a graphic designer, but sure."
Sir, I can Google that for you. Yes.
And then I'm like, okay, if I rig these 3 layers on Canva and have this go down, it'll look like this is animating, so a cup is emptying, like
Oh yeah, it's good
I've
stuff.
gotten real creative. But he's really liking it, so that's great.
Good.
So I was like, well, I've got like and we've got like 60 plus slides, and I know he's gonna have to cut some, but
Hmm.
he also really wants to rehearse them before he cuts them. So it's
Mm.
like I gotta design them and
That's
then
fun.
and then my work will, inevitably just get thrown in the trash. No, but he's very appreciative. It's fine. But I just know that that's like how he wants to like process it. So I was like, well, I'll just get a couple slides done here and there. And then in all that time, I didn't get my notes up. But I'm
Mm.
here now. And also, okay, I'm also going to be really honest. The first half an hour of my notes are not robust because I was in a meeting and I was
Mm.
just like kind of sneaking glances during the meeting. I was like, yeah. Oh, yeah, very interesting.
Well,
If you're
let me tell
listening,
you,
I'm sorry, everybody.
the first 30 minutes, not much to see here. I
Right. It
mean,
was a lot of like the meet the family stuff and everything went
mhm.
well, so I was like, "Meh."
Yeah, I mean, the stars were out. You had a bunch of contestants of old just hanging out in the crowd, making faces, and then getting superimposed over footage that was playing. And then, we start off here with Daisy, and the theme of Daisy's time on the screen is a series of subtle hints that it ain't Daisy. That's pretty much it. She is lovely, and she
Yeah.
met Joey's family, and they loved her, and she did really well with them, and that was good. But also, it's like uh, I don't know. Sometimes you could just tell, like, by how the date is structured, and at this point, even how like Joey was reacting, you could tell that his mind was pretty much made up. He was basically in a position of like, unless somebody does something crazy to sway me one way or the other, it's definitely going one way. Like, and so yeah, so him and Daisy got a classic date if you're not going to pick someone, which is like spiritual, like indigenous people date, where you're
Yeah.
not like interacting with the other person in a meaningful way. You're just kind of like sitting in a room. And that was pretty much their date. And then she was just like, Joey, I love you. And he was just like, I bet you do. That was pretty much it. He didn't say those exact words, but that's what he was saying with his eyes.
Yeah, it was like he was just like, "That's great." Like, "I love that." Yeah, that's wonderful.
Mhm.
Thank you.
And then I tried to do a little goof and trick Sammy because I didn't think that she would be watching live. So I
Oh.
messaged her and I said, "Oh my God, Joey and and Daisy are doing ayahuasca right now," and she's like, "I'm watching live, Steve." So it ruined my whole joke. But
I'm sorry.
what am I
Well,
gonna do?
I had already told you that I was watching live, but, like, I don't know, read it.
Mm.
Not your
No,
strong suit.
I'm a man. I have no concept of time, and I don't listen. So there you go.
Yeah, Joey's the only good one. No, so I
Yep.
said, because I had said oh, yeah. I said, "Does Wednesday work for recording?" You said, "Yes, ma'am, watching live right now." And then I sent you the most weirdest text back because I was like one row off on my keyboard. So I was like, AMW. And then I was like, I meant to say same. I just got out of a meeting, so I was watching in the background. And you're like, I just assumed this was a weird noise you made. And then you were like, very exciting episode, no spoilers. And I was like, I just told you I was watching.
Steve, you never listen to me, Steve.
I was like, okay, whatever. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it was like it was pretty I mean, it's been pretty clear the whole time. And you know what? Thought this when he said this to Kelsey, and I saw somebody else say this when he did that whole thing, and this was like a few weeks ago, and he got all whispery with Kelsey, and he was like you're never gonna fade into the background. You can't do it. It's not possible. That whole
Mhm.
thing. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa. I was like, that's come on. He's
Come
picking
on,
her. Like
man.
as soon as he said that, I was like, this is very different than how I mean, and he's given every woman on the show like ample attention, I think, and when he was on a date, he was always very focused. But I was like, that's kind of going above and beyond saying something like that. I was like, yeah. So I kind of figured that was going to be how it was going to be. Yeah, I don't have a lot of notes for the Daisy date, although um they say that they thought Daisy was precious and sweet, but super
Yeah.
serious and ready for stuff. Um and this was
Mhm.
interesting that she starts breaking down and then Kelsey also starts breaking down. So they're
Oh,
like
yeah.
on their dates and they're just like, this is like really important. And I feel like we don't always get that on the show
Mhm.
either. It was just so, I don't know. Like I hate to say this about a reality show, but it just felt more real than a lot of seasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, I believe this. I believe it. They're really invested.
Mhm.
Um and then and then what I loved is that after this date, they had like a Good Morning America promo, and it was like still from that like very dramatic shot of like the one rose and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Um and then okay, so we get to Kelsey's date. Yeah, she also talks about living up to expectations. Oh, what I wanted to know because I missed this note. When she said Lizzie McGuire moment, was she talking about like Italy or something, or what was she talking about?
I have no idea. I think I might be too old for that reference, which is like
Oh,
I
okay.
know Lizzie McGuire. I don't know Lizzie
That's, like,
McGuire.
exactly when I unmuted the TV, she was like, "It was
Yeah.
my Lizzie McGuire moment," and I forgot to check it
Yeah.
out.
I
Yeah.
don't know what that means other than I know that, like, my younger siblings watched that show, but I was like, "I'm too cool. I'm old now. I do old guy stuff." So, yeah, I didn't watch the show, but whatever it was, I'm sure it was a great Lizzie McGuire moment for her.
Oh, yeah, 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 it was. Okay, because yeah, they were, yeah. So, yeah. It was when they were in, Andalusia, and she was like, "It's my Lizzie McGuire moment." Okay,
Mhm.
so for the uninitiated, for the people who aren't the exact kind of millennial that I was, I guess, because I watched this movie a lot.
The Lizzie McGuire movie?
The Lizzie McGuire movie came out in 2003, okay? Maybe
Okay.
I was too old for it, but I didn't care, okay?
Yeah.
I
I mean,
loved
I'm
it.
gonna go ahead and date myself right now. I was like 16 or 17
Yeah,
when that came out, so I was
yeah.
probably like, "No, I'm too cool. I'm gonna go smoke weed and eat a
I was like
taco."
I was 15 and I was like, "I'm not too cool, I'll watch
Yeah.
it." And I was a babysitter at the time, so,
Oh,
like
yeah.
and I didn't have cable, so the only time I got to watch stuff, like, that wasn't cable was at
Mhm.
the kids' houses where I would babysit, so I watched a lot of, like I watched a lot of Degrassi, of course, and
Mhm.
then, and some of it was, like, if they were old enough, we'd watch it together, but some of it was, like, they'd go to bed, and then
Yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
like, "What can I watch on Nickelodeon? The Lizzie McGuire movie? Great."
Love it.
Yeah, this is the best. So yeah, so the Lizzie McGuire movie, it's set in Rome and she
Ooh,
like meets this guy and he's like really cute and like a pop star and whatever and but he
totally.
ends up being like a fraud and it's this whole thing yeah. So, yeah. That's yeah, isn't that the where the song This Is Where Dreams Are Made Of? Isn't that where it originated or
Again,
am I making that up?
you're asking the wrong guy. Like, my exposure to Lizzie McGuire was I have a sister who's 10 years older than me, and I have a brother who's your age, so I just sort of, like, absorbed that show like just through osmosis and watching my younger siblings, but I don't know fuck all about it. So
Yeah, I'm right, yeah. You know, the hey now, this is what dreams are made of." You know the song?
I actually do know that song.
Okay, yeah. So there you go. It was in the movie. Uh, 2003.
I'm more Lizzie McGuire than I thought.
And why not? Yeah, why
Sure,
not?
yeah.
Take a crazy chance. So there you go. So
I too am a blonde teen girl with a cartoon version of myself.
I was a big Hilary Duff fan. You know what's really cool too about that cartoon girl? Do you know who animated that?
I do
And, like,
not.
the other work that they did?
No.
Oh my god. Okay, so I promise we'll get back to The Bachelor. Okay, you know the movie Better Off Dead?
Yes. The hamburger guy, the guy who makes the dancing hamburger and
No,
Better
no,
Off
no, no,
Dead?
no, 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 not
Oh.
the hamburger, the other all the doodles that he did.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
same
That's
animator.
cool.
Mhm.
That's really cool. That's
Yeah,
fun trivia.
why do I need to this is what's in my brain instead of,
My
things I
name's
need for the
Sammy.
test.
I'm the IMDb trivia page for Better Off Dead.
Listen, and the Lizzie McGuire movie and just the show. I watched a lot of Lizzie McGuire.
Wait, does Lizzie McGuire have? Oh no, that's Even Stevens. That's a different one. Sorry,
Oh.
that's the one with the guy named Beans, right? What's Beans from? Is
I
that Even
think Beans
Stevens?
was in Even Stevens, yeah.
Okay. The only
Yeah.
thing I know about that show, because again, this is another thing that I absorbed like through osmosis. Beans from Even Stevens works at the Starbucks at Universal Studios. Like you can just go there and like Beans is there. Yeah,
Beans is there.
Beans is
Stephen
there.
Anthony Lawrence
Yeah, Mr. Beans, not Mr. Bean.
recurring
That's a different person. That's Roland Atkinson. That's different.
yeah, Beans. Anyway,
Anyway, yeah, back on track here.
now you've learned something new today, and now you don't have to use your brain anymore after you listen to this. So yeah, so that's what she was saying about her Lizzie McGuire moment. It wasn't they weren't in Rome, but like close enough. Whatever, Kelsey, sure.
Yeah, sure.
And then, the sisters are like, wow, Kelsey is amazing. And she's so silly. She's so fun, but she's got such a bright light. And then Kelsey's crying and she's like, he means so much to me. And I was like, oh God, this is going to get so real no matter what.
Oh yeah, and then Daisy's little breakdown too, because I mean, we're gonna talk about it when we get to the end here, but Daisy knows. I mean, we all knew. We're watching it. We're like,
Yeah.
ugh, because she's like this very like delicate, precious. I couldn't tell you a single thing about Daisy's personality other than she's like this very nice person who has like her emotions are like a porcelain doll that I'm about to drop on the floor and shatter. And that's what happens here. She's just like, I'm just afraid that he's not going to choose me. It's like, yeah, he's not going to, but yeah, not great.
Yeah. Yeah. You feel that dread. But yeah, I liked the Sweat Lodge experience. I thought, okay, this is cool, or whatever it
Yeah.
was.
It's fine. It's just like, we've talked about this before. There's certain dates on The Bachelor where you know they mean more. And when you get down to the end like this, you've got two people, and one of them gets Indigenous people's spiritual date, and the other person gets like sexy spa date. You're
Yeah.
like, okay, we
Yeah,
know what's going on
you know
here.
what's going on.
Yeah, you're not tricking
um
me, Joey.
Yeah, so this is where like after they have that date, she's like, um, I'm in love with you, and he's like, that means so much to me. And then he like kind of did an HR goodbye.
Oh yeah,
And I was like, "Ugh, not great." And
yeah. Your
then yeah,
position's been eliminated.
yeah, yeah, exactly. You've become redundant. But we want to thank you for your years of service. And then there's a spa, yeah, the spa day. Was Joey ticklish? Is that what was going on?
Yeah. Oh
His
yeah.
feet are ticklish. And then we cut to Daisy being insecure and she's upset. And then Kelsey's also upset. But this is where I saw he was reassuring Kelsey more than Daisy. Like he
Hmm.
was just like, you have nothing to be worried about. Wink, wink. Just calm down and be cool. Okay. And so this is the interesting part. So and let the record show that last week I half predicted this. And I talked to my mom today and she said, I listened to the last episode and I went, wow, Sammy's kind of psychic. I said, thank
Mm.
you. Because remember, if you'll recall, ladies and gentlemen, if you'll return to last week's recording, I say, I bet Daisy's going to get out in front of it and say, I know that it's not me. And what does she do? Exactly that. But first,
Exactly that.
she runs some intel. And so she's like, Kelsey, this was unprecedented. This was not anything we've ever seen before, but it worked out great. So she's like, okay, Kelsey, how did your date go? And Kelsey's like, it went great. Why? And she's like, okay. I know it's not me. I'm like, I
Yeah.
know.
That's all the confirmation she needed.
She's like, I know it's not me. I just know it. So anyway, just trying to figure out what to do about that. And then we get to like the scene, you know, and the whole cars coming up and all that. And it's always like the first person to come out. It's curtains for them and you see Daisy and everyone's like, we knew it. And then Kelsey sitting next to her.
So good.
I
So good.
loved that. I was
This
like,
this
this is
was
awesome.
I am so glad that Daisy did this, and I feel like I've underestimated her because, again, like, I don't know what her personality is. She's lovely, but I don't know anything about her, and she is a lot smarter than I give her credit for because this is a real boss ass move.
Oh
Okay, like
yeah.
you're just like girl powering to the final moment. You know that like you're about to eat a bullet, so you know what, you're going out on your terms. And
Mhm.
it's wild to me because this is like they kept saying, and there's this lovely like cinematic moment to this season where both the first episode and this last episode begin with the same like quiet close up on Joey's face, just kind of like looking like, every woman in the world dumped him. So it leads you that way. But really what it is, this is Daisy empowerment time. I cannot believe that no one has ever done this before in
I
Bachelorette history.
know.
It's wild. Because
That's what
like
I'm
we've
saying.
seen it
Yeah.
before. We have seen the women who are just getting in that car and they're like, I know this is it. I'm fucked. Like it's just, and then they just go there and they eat shit, but not
Yeah.
Daisy. What does she do, Sammy? What does she do?
Well, so first of all, so I wasn't sure how they were gonna play this with the car, because I was
Mm-hmm.
like, are they gonna come out together? But then it actually worked out. So she comes out, and she's just like, listen, I know it's not me. I just know it,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And he's like, can I walk you out? And she's like, nah, I think I gotta do this. I gotta go it alone.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, whoa. And then she turns around, and then in the back, there's like this, they hug, and then Kelsey comes out. And did
Mm-hmm.
Joey even realize that it was happening? It didn't seem like he did, right?
No,
Yeah.
he was like, what? Well, and then they interview him later and he's like, Daisy is the most powerful, amazing woman. It's great. And this
Yeah.
is why it's so good. Because if there is a way to lose on The Bachelor and actually win, this is it. Like in this moment, we were talking about this last week. It's like, well, I mean, Maria's shooing for next Bachelorette, right? Like it makes more sense. And in this one move out of nowhere, Daisy's just like, no, I'm next in line, like that. But then we have a few more twists and turns after this. But like
Yeah.
it's one of the most just single power moves I have ever seen in the history of this franchise. No one has ever done anything like this. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah, it was great. And I think the way that that all came together was like the way it should have come together. Uh
Mm-hmm.
and and I think it's interesting that they left the door open for Daisy maybe coming back as a bachelorette in the future. I wouldn't be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know?
I hope so. Because, and she kind of says that too. She's like, I'm not really in the mood for this. Because they point blank ask her, because of course they're going to announce who the next Bachelorette is uh, at the end of this episode. And it's like, oh, it's got to be her. She's like, I got to take a break from this shit, which is
Yeah.
understandable.
And I need to, before we move on, I need to make a quick Lizzie McGuire addendum.
Mm.
I don't want to mischaracterize. I was like, I want to make sure that what I said is true. Because I remember looking it up, but then I questioned myself. Okay, so I just needed to talk about this really quick. And then I will shut up forever until we get to the next topic.
Until the
So
next season.
so Savage Steve Holland is the director for Better Off Dead and also One Crazy Summer. I'm guessing you also saw One Crazy Summer. I don't know if you did
I
or not.
have no idea what that is.
Okay. He also animated One Crazy Summer is really good. It's with John Cusack and Bobcat Goldthwait, and it's incredible, and you should watch it. Anyway,
Okay.
so he also directed How I Got Into College and animated The Whammy on the game show Press Your Luck. So all of those have like kind of like
What?
similar styles. And
Wow.
then he also created and produced some TV shows, but he directed shows for Disney Channel and Nickelodeon, including Lizzie McGuire. He directed 9 episodes. But the Lizzie McGuire animator is Deborah Solomon. So she
Okay.
created Lizzie, but obviously there's a lot of intersections there. Which
Hmm.
and his collaborator worked on the animation for some of his movies, but I know that there was a closer through line there between some people. But that's anyway. I don't want to get listen. Misinformation is the greatest global threat right now, according to the World Economic Forum. Okay.
Mm.
So I'm just trying to I'm trying to not spread misinformation. But if you want to hang out with me sometime, this is just what it's like to hang out with me. So then let's talk about what happened after this. Cause I was like, oh my God, we've got another hour. Holy cow. Oh, one thing I wanted to say is this is what girls look like. This is what it
Yes.
looks like to be a girl's girl. If you're wondering, Leia, what it looks like to be a girl's girl, it's this whole thing. This whole ending is got girl's girl written all over it.
Yep.
Holy cow.
This ultimate girl power ending.
Yeah. It was awesome. So yeah, and then yeah, I'm like, oh, but Kelsey looked like a princess when he proposed, and I honestly think they might stand a chance.
Yeah. Oh,
I
for
think
sure.
they've
For
got a
sure.
real shot. I'm
Yeah.
rooting for them.
Not something we say very often with the
Mm-mm.
Bachelor. Bachelorette, better odds. Bachelor, the odds they're trash.
Yeah, I'm actually like, whoa, I'm rooting for you, and I think you'll do well.
Mm-hmm.
And then okay, so then Joey sees Daisy for like the first time in a long time. This is when she says like she's not ready. Um and oh, one thing I wanted to say about Joey's haircut in the live show is I feel like he should have gotten his haircut a little bit longer before the show.
Yeah, I think so.
Right? It's just like a
Wasn't
little
his
like a
best
little
look.
yeah, I mean his hair looks good grown out a little bit and a little like
Mm-hmm.
messy and stuff. And so I was
Yeah.
just kind of like, "Meh."
The girls look great though. Like
They
I
looked
thought Daisy looked
amazing.
amazing, and
Oh yeah.
Kelsey is funny because she has this like incredible back and forth ability where she looks like, oh, I'm just a ragamuffin who rolled out of bed. But then other times she just walks in, you're like, are you like Cindy Crawford? What the fuck? Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
was in like ultimate supermodel mode when she walked in. You're like, oh boy.
Yeah, she's like early years Julia Roberts for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like she's totally got
Powerful.
that vibe. Yeah,
Powerful.
yes. Well, that's why he said you can't blend in, okay? You
Nope.
can't fade into the
Impossible.
background. It's impossible. There's no way. Um, yeah. Oh, this was interesting. So, okay, so Joey comes out with Kelsey and all that stuff. They give him an all expense paid trip to Jasper. Guess you shouldn't have talked about how much you like Jasper. That's what you get. No, I'm sure they'll have fun.
Yeah.
Okay, this is interesting though. Uh Kelsey's dad,
Hmm.
Golden Bachelorette contestant, potentially? Question mark.
That's
I like that
interesting. You
idea.
like
I
that
like
idea?
that. Sure. Why not? I mean, it might not go anywhere. Like Matt James' mom was on there for like 5 seconds,
Yeah, why not?
and then they were like, "Time to go." Um, yeah. So that was cool. Oh, this I thought was interesting. So yeah, so then Daisy comes back out. This is just like musical fucking chairs. And he's like, maybe it's our next bachelorette. Is it gonna be Daisy? This is finally when she says, like, no. I also didn't realize it had only been a year since she got her cochlear implant. It makes more sense in that context.
Yeah,
That
I
she's
think it does.
making a big
I
deal
thought
out of
she'd
it.
had it for
Yeah.
a while too, but like when
Yeah.
she was like, "Oh, I've only had him for a year," I was like, "Okay, that's why you got to talk about him every 5 minutes." I understand more.
Yeah, I
So
totally get it. And also I do think it is really important. I mean, we've had other deaf queens on our on the show before. cochlear implant girlies, whatever they want to call themselves.
Whatever their
And
preferred terminology is.
however they identify. Um, on the show before, and I do think that's cool. And
Mhm.
I feel like they were really priming the pump for the importance of representation, and I'm okay with it. I like how they teed this up because I watched a video um that was like, okay, so we get the announcement that Jen's the next bachelorette. And that is surprising, but it's not like
Yeah.
super surprising because I mean, she wasn't like the final five.
Yeah.
And it's not like totally shocking, although I guess I would expect like Rachel over Jen.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, totally.
I would because I think, I feel like we got to know her more. Um, Gosh, now who was talking about it? I know Nick Vile talked about it a little bit. Okay, so basically, this is like I heard from a Nick Vile podcast who heard from somebody else. So who knows how
Mhm.
reliable this is. But he had said something like, it sounds like Maria was set to be the bachelorette until she wasn't, and like they couldn't make it happen. And I don't know
Mhm.
what that means, they couldn't make it happen. I don't know if that means she turned it down or there was some kind of something in the contract that just didn't work. I have no idea.
Yeah, yeah.
No clue. But that's what I know right now. And, one thing he had said was, I don't think they thought it was going to be Jen, and that's why they didn't show her a lot. Cause it's
Oh,
like,
for sure.
I
Yeah.
mean, but to be fair, like, so this was interesting. It was an interesting strategy because they bring Charity out and it's like this is what I think it was. It was like Charity's like, "Hey, remember how you like had no idea really what I was all about? Remember that? That was not that long ago. I was the person who got that crappy airport gift, and that was kind of all you knew about me. And then I was still nice about it. Um, so that's all you really knew. And then it was like, and then I ended up being one of the best bachelorettes that the series has ever seen. Remember that? You all love me and you think I'm awesome. So I'm coming out here to make you be like, be cool, because this is not
Yeah.
what you're expecting. But it is important and I'm rooting for her.
It
So you
was
can't say no to me, right?
that was honestly, for me, it almost made it worse because, like, I want you to be confident in your decision. And
Yeah.
you could tell
Mm.
immediately when they announced Jen, and like, I had like 5 people at my house, and everybody just went in unison, "What?" Like, and it wasn't even bad. It was just like, "What the fuck? Where did that
Yeah, it
come
just
from?"
kind of felt like it came out of nowhere. Like you're just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay." Like,
And
yeah.
even when they showed Jen, like going back to the blooper reels from the Women Tell All and all that stuff, like what we've got from Jen is not a lot. They were just like, oh yeah, it's funny because she's like, they just made her look like an airhead. She's like, everything's pretty. Like that's what we got from Jen.
Yeah, like yeah. Oh my god, it's so pretty.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's all we've gotten from her.
Yeah.
And so you didn't have a good setup. And then you have Charity come out and she's like, okay, as the official Good Bachelorette ambassador, I'm here to say that I endorse this. And then she gets the Maria endorsement because everybody thought
Yeah.
Maria was going to be the Bachelorette. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? It was weird. And then the other thing is I don't know how much time Jen had to think about this and think about how she was going to present herself now that she's the main character and who she was going to be, and she tried to make jokes, and I have never in my life seen someone on the show with like worse comedic timing. And this is not an insult, Jen, because somebody wrote these for you and told you to say these jokes, and they did not hit at all. And had they known who you were, they wouldn't have set you up like this. So it's just like a very rocky start. I think it's super cool that she's the first Asian bachelorette. Awesome, very cool. It's just no one is doing you any fucking favors here. It sucks, but we'll see. Uh,
Yeah, I feel like I mean, I'm sure she will stand on her own merits.
mhm,
Like I'm totally sure of it.
yeah,
Um I'm sure like I mean, I can't think of a bachelorette I haven't liked in a long time. If I mean, I don't know if there's like okay, there's Desiree I didn't really like. I mean, she's fine, whatever. But she wasn't my cup of tea. But it's like pretty much every I mean, I can't think of a bachelorette really that I was like strongly against ever. Unlike The Bachelor, where there have been plenty where I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
no, what? No,
Bachelor, it's
absolutely
like
not.
we had a streak going for a while. We're like, ugh.
This is just bad. Yeah, Joey broke the curse. Thank goodness. Oh, that
Yeah,
was an interesting suggestion. Someone was like, "Oh, wouldn't it have been cool if it had been Caitlyn and she could like break her family curse?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean that's a pipe dream, you know, like."
sure.
But that would have been cool, yes, because I thought she was the most interesting, unique person on the show. But
Hmm.
they would have needed to show her way more because at least we
Yeah,
got. I mean, we got a more interesting story from her, maybe, but we did get a lot more footage of Jen. And, I think the surfing date was like we got to see a little more of her personality. And I think it'll be interesting for her she's got kind of a storyline going already with like this whole conversation that she's had with her mom and all of that. And I think that could factor in and be a very interesting part of the show. So I
totally.
think there's a lot of potential. I'm sure she'll do great. But it was just kind of like surprising because I was just like, Maria's a deadlock. It's happening. We're getting the best season we've ever seen in our lives. And then just to be like, okay, it's going to be like probably a fine season and maybe it'll exceed our expectations,
Yeah.
and we've just had so many good bachelorettes. So, I
Hmm.
mean, I'm sure it'll be fine. But yeah,
I,
it was
I am
just
a man
shocking.
full of doubt, but, and this is a big but, listeners of this show know if there's one thing that I am, it is confidently wrong with great frequency.
Yeah.
So,
I just go,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Maria, I haven't seen I mean, I checked earlier today to see if she had posted anything. I know she had posted like thrown support behind Jen and,
Hmm.
not just on the show, but like in other places as well.
Yeah.
So I think now Lauren, who has been hanging out with Maria a lot, it's like gosh, now I'm trying to remember who all was in, like, the girl groups that are hanging out, but I know, Maria and the sisters have been hanging out a decent amount, it looks like.
Oh, totally.
Um,
They're total bros. And also
that makes
Maria's
perfect
just
sense.
living it up too.
Yeah.
She just keeps just popping up on my TikTok feed, just doing fun little dances and little things. So yeah, she's having a great time.
Yeah, she's gonna be
Just being the
totally
sprinkle
fine,
queen.
and who knows, maybe she'll be in paradise, we'll see. That would be great if she made it to paradise.
Yeah.
Um, I think she's actually probably better suited for paradise, even though I would love to see a full bachelorette
Yes. I agree
season.
100%.
I think she is more meant for that, yeah.
Oh yeah, she's got the personality and the energy for Paradise, and it'll be good because she will continue to rub people the wrong way, and definitely guys will leave whoever they're with for her, and then she'll get yelled at, but not them. It's going to be a whole thing. I would have liked to see her as the Bachelorette just because she has such a strong, confident personality. It would have been fun to see her as the main character, just like cutting guys down. But I'll take her on Paradise. It'll be great either way. She's
Yeah.
good TV.
There was like one of the rumors, I don't know, I think it was from Lauren. Like someone had said that Lauren had said it in like a comment or something like that or a DM or something that Maria had turned it down, but
Hmm.
I there's not confirmation one way or another, I don't think yet. And also because I strongly believe Maria is a girl's girl,
Yeah.
she isn't gonna she probably won't talk about it until like the you know like she's gonna sit and she's gonna throw support behind Jen, and then when it feels like it makes sense to talk about it, that's when she'll talk about it. I don't think she's
Yeah.
not the kind of person who's gonna like jump on and be like, all right, you all want to hear from me and like kind of steal Jen's thunder. I don't think that that's her style, so
No, totally
we'll
not.
see what happens. But yeah, I mean, so wait, what's next? What's coming up next? I
I
don't even
I
know.
don't know. Is
Paradise?
it
Well,
gonna
not
be Golden
Paradise.
Bachelorette, or is it
Golden
gonna
Bachelorette,
be
yeah.
regular Bachelorette? Are we gonna get simultaneous Bachelorette action? Also, can I just say, what's up with Gary? Like, he was
Oh,
on
I
this
heard he
episode, and
cried a lot, right?
they kept cutting to him, and he was just, like, beet red and sobbing the whole time. It's like, "Bro, what just dial it back, man. I don't know what's going on with you.
Well,
Chill
he's
out."
emotional. He's totes emotion.
Whatever. I'm over Gary.
Well, I was kind of over Gary out of the whole, like after that whole like article came out about all the weird
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Weird Kermit the
I
Frog. We
mean,
get it.
better for Leslie that it worked out that way.
Yeah, I think
She's sitting
so.
with all her girls, like, that's better. I mean, really, I can't believe how many stars we got from the Golden Bachelor. Like, the women were so top tier. It's unbelievable. And
Mhm.
that they're just like, they're living their best lives. Like, they're getting to come to these shows and, like, mix in with the younger ladies and stuff. It's so cute. Like, why didn't they do this a long time ago? It's the best.
Yeah.
Ugh, makes me so
So,
happy.
I have some information. I use
Oh,
this website. It's called Google.com. I don't know if any of our listeners have ever heard of it.
never heard of
It
it.
turns out the next season of The Bachelorette is gonna be in July,
Okay.
and the Golden Bachelorette is going to be in fall of 2024. No firm date there. So what's going to happen in between? I don't know. Bring back the Bachelor games. Remember the
Yeah.
Bachelor games or Bachelor Pad? Bring back Bachelor Pad. That's what I want.
So wait, like we don't have anything until July?
Yeah, we're gonna have to like read a book.
We have to read those books. Well,
Yeah. Now,
and I just got a sneak
thanks
preview.
ABC. Now I gotta read.
Yeah. See, this is the thing. They F me up because like my summer is coming and I'm like, I can finally like, not feel like I'm fitting this in
Mhm.
around everything else in my life. And then they're just like, haha, you have to wait till July, till the next
Yeah.
one.
The funny thing is we're gonna have this big break, right? And then we're gonna be busy as hell because we're gonna have Bachelorette straight into Paradise, straight into Golden Bachelorette, straight into the next Bachelor.
Yeah.
Like we're
Yeah.
just gonna get stampeded at the end of the
So
year.
mean. Why do you have to do that to me?
Yeah.
And all of us. But yeah, so we will have to read and we will read because
Hmm.
I still want to read Courtney's book and there's a couple other books I'd really like to read. So we'll
Yeah.
do some like special editions. The other thing that we will definitely do, well, probably, depending if she chooses me, but she's been choosing me a lot lately,
Hmm.
um, is a Jilly box because apparently it's going to be the most valuable Jilly box ever.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
600 Canadian worth of stuff in there for 199 CAD, baby. It's going to
Wow.
be
Wow.
awesome. And the theme is summer vacation.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Oh, and I never gave a Jilly box update because I've been using my Jilly box stuff and I totally forgot to share. So because this is a short episode, you just get all this filler and nonsense and me just like just talking like a weirdo. So the candle is probably my favorite thing I got in the last box. It smells just like Fruit Loops and it's amazing. And when you light it, it smells even better. And I used it the whole time I was like at this Airbnb over spring break. Like I was just like this, and it made like the whole floor smell good. But it wasn't like
Oh, that's nice.
overpowering, like it wasn't like headachy. And it's very like it's got that lemon and then like the fruity, it smells just like Fruit Loops. It's like making my mouth water thinking about it. So good. The robe is very comfortable. I use that at the Airbnb as well.
Okay.
Um, that was really nice. What else? Oh, the coffee warmer was really
Oh
useful.
yeah. Slash
Um,
phone charger.
yeah, slash phone charger. The pro tip is if you plug it into your computer, it won't do much of anything for you. You got to plug it into an outlet.
Okay.
But that was easy enough. So I plugged it into an outlet. It stayed warmer. So basically, there are metal like flakes in the bottom of the mug that
Mm.
register it, and so it like keeps it I don't know, it's like keeps it warm. I don't know how it does it. It's like weird. And there's like a lid that you can put on it that keeps it warm. And then the charger, you know, also works kind of the same way. So I just if I took my phone case off, which is not hard to do, then it would charge. But it would charge really slow if I had it plugged into my computer. What else did I get that I'm forgetting? Those are like the big things. I use that face mist sometimes during
Ooh,
the
got a
trip.
mist.
Yeah, that was nice. Um, I have yet to use this smoothie powder, but it's been sitting in front of my blender. It's just like so cold. We just had like another snowstorm. So I just made a whole big batch of oatmeal. I'm not really in a smoothie mood right now, but that's not to say that I won't be in the future. It smells good. And I know she likes peaches. It's like very peach themed. What else? Oh, no, that was the mug. The mug is cute. I already talked about the mug though. That's all I can right now. Those are the things that I use the most, but I really, really love the candle. And it was an expensive candle. It was like a $40 candle. So I'm really happy
Lord.
I like it. Yeah, it's not the most expensive candle I own. Spoken like a tourist.
Wow.
I do have an $80 candle, so it's
Holy
fine.
cow. I get mine from the dollar store.
I
What am I
have
doing wrong?
my eyes set on a $225 candle. It's
I
huge.
actually I bought a candle from the dollar store. It didn't smell that great, but it was fine. It was
Did
like
you
a
get
4 out of
100? You could get 128 of those, or well, no,
I could.
225
Well, I got
of
I
them.
got one and it caught on fire, but like not the way it's supposed to.
No.
Yeah, it had this wrapper around it. Like cuz
Oh.
it's like, "Oh, here's the scent. It's trees and shit or whatever it was called." And then
Yes,
it
trees and
like melted and like caught on fire and like got on my table and it was a whole thing and I was like, "What the fuck?" Where'd I get this from? The dollar
no.
store?
Jeez Louise.
Yeah,
You
so
know,
don't do that.
listen, I mean, just from one tourist to the world, I would just say there are some things that are worth spending a lot of money on. Candles, I think, are one of them, surprisingly, because you
Mhm.
get what you pay for. And here's a pro tip: just order from Sephora, and if they come broken, they'll send you more, and then you get candles for free. I like Voluspa. Do you know the brand Voluspa? Am I
I
completely
don't.
pulling you totally way to the side?
You
Um,
are you're outside of the Steve comfort zone right now, but it's okay.
okay, so briefly, and then we'll leave you all alone until we finish reading a book or until the Jilly box comes first. Whatever comes first. So okay, Voluspa is a candle company, and they have some of the best candles I've ever smelled in my life. And I'm obsessed with Baltic Amber. It's one of my favorite smells in the world. And there's no greater joy for me than like lighting good smelling candles. It just makes me really happy. As soon as I get off this call, I am going to go light some candles. Um, and they had these like little advent calendar thingies where you could try like 12 different scents of like mini votives.
Mhm.
And I'm like, that's great because I would love to know if there are other things I like besides just the Baltic Amber. And they're the ones who have like that $225 candle. It's 128 ounces. It's like ginormous. And Tuck said he's going to buy it for me one day. But he
Wow.
couldn't figure out where we were going to put it.
Find
And
yourself
so
a man who buys you the giant candle that costs over $100.
yeah, so for Christmas this year, he bought me the second biggest one, the $80 one. And he was like,
Mm.
"I will buy you the big one, but I'm just trying to figure out if it will fit on the mantle or what we have to do to get you
Seems
that
fair.
big candle." I said, this is what I need in my life because I can't rationalize spending $200 on a candle. But if
Yeah.
it's my husband's money, that's different somehow in my brain. So anyway, so I ordered these candles and they came shipped to me and they have like a lot of like foam packaging and stuff, but they still came like a couple of them came broken and like chipped and stuff. And I was like,
Mhm.
"Hey, you know, just want to let you know some of these came broken." They're like, "We'll ship you out another one immediately." And I was like, "Okay, great." And in my head, I'm like, I feel like the same thing's going to happen with those. And then they came and I'm like, "Yeah, there's some broken in this one too." And they're like, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I was like, "I mean, I'd rather you not send me another box." Especially because most of them are functional, you know. And And I said, but none of them were like completely intact. And so they're like, we're just going to give it to you for free. We'll just give you store credit. And this was like a $90 box of candles. So I got 2 of them for free, basically.
Nice.
Well,
Well done.
$90 store credit. Anyway, so pro tip, if you order stuff that may be likely to be breakable, maybe you'll get some free stuff. Anyway, that's not a good lesson at all. And I have nothing else to say outside of that because I am brain dead today and tired, and I didn't get to have tacos or Al Capone food. But listen, everybody, this is what I want you to be. This is what I want you to walk away with. If you feel like you are receiving disappointing information, open yourself up to become pleasantly surprised.
And don't do needle drugs.
What a strong ending.
For some reason, I thought you were going to say something after that for a second, and then I felt the need to yell louder and speak faster.
Good. I'm glad you leaned into that.